And all will be well. Hello Facebook, hello YouTube, how's everybody doing today? Just saying to our friends on Instagram here, we're in for a real treat today because we're going to take a deep dive into some of the botanicals and natural supplements that can really help with some of the common issues that I think most of us, if we're honest, are suffering from. Achy joints, lack of sleep, inflammation, and we're going to be talking about things like turmeric, black garlic, what's the other one? Olive leaf. Fascinating. I'm hearing so much about olive leaf, particularly for long COVID and basically immune support. That's what it's all about, isn't it? Just sort of being well and supporting the immune system. Thank you very much. Thank you. Nice comments. So yeah, pink top. This is one of my faves from Carol McEwen, who is an independent London-based fashion designer who makes all her own stuff. She's not even got a website. You have to follow her on Instagram if you want to get on her list. Hi, Carol, if you're watching. And yeah, and I'm wearing my botanical, my wild rose. Thought I'd be all rosy today. I've got my lovely pink sofa behind me in the studios. Got my little wild rose bracelet in the rose gold, actually, which I thought would work with the pink. So we're all pink. These, by the way, are 25% off currently on Lizelle Jewellery. So if you fancy taking a look at my wild roses, go and take a little peek. LizelleJewellery.com. Definitely drop a question either on Facebook or on Instagram if you have any concerns about immunity, gut health in particular. There's obviously a strong relationship between our gut health and our immune system. Let's see if we can get Kevin to join us now. And turn my volume right up to make sure that we can all hear everybody. I have requested Kevin to join, so hopefully that would. Hi, Kevin.
Hi. Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, actually, despite all the bugs and lurgy and everything that's around at the moment. I'm feeling top form, partly, I have to say, through taking handfuls of your amazing supplements.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it's actually perfect timing for a discussion on immune system because I don't know about you, but there's a lot of COVID coming around again.
Yeah.
And it's important we get ourselves well before the holiday season. It's really important. It doesn't interfere with that.
Definitely. And actually, I'm going to be doing quite a few things in the next few weeks on travel because I'm going to be heading off to Italy to join my family over there. And that's always a time that we really focus on two things. One, how to stay well when you travel and when you're away so you can make the most of your downtime. But also what to take. What earns space in your case? Because obviously you just can't take hundreds of things. And your things from the Naked Pharmacy are coming with me.
Fantastic.
So,
fantastic. Very happy to be keeping you well. It's the same for us. We're off on holiday in August, so
fantastic.
We're making sure that we have this trio we're talking about today. And I think that a lot of the time this word this phrase immune system is kind of feels slightly etheric. Don't know where it belongs, where it sits and stuff. And I think a lot of research is showing that it sits in the gut now. But actually, I think there's a lot more research coming through that we need to kind of see that in a different way, a bit more detailed way, and in terms of three layers, three barriers to protection, if you like. So the first is the mucus layer, the second is the cellular layer, and then the third is the vascular layer, so the blood vessels behind the gut wall. So those three, I think, that we're looking at in terms of these three products are perfectly aligned. So that mucus layer is that protection against viruses.
So
bacteria.
this is all happening within the gut. This is all
Absolutely.
to do with the microbiome. So I've read somewhere that sort of 90% of our immune system is actually stems from the gut.
Absolutely. I mean, it varies a little bit, 70 to 90%, depending on which bit of research you look at. But there's no doubt that it is the main player in this game of our protection, our strength in terms of how we remain strong despite the immune challenges, despite the toxins that perhaps we're ingesting accidentally. And I think that if you look at it in these three ways, then it starts to make a lot more sense to me as a pharmacist. So we'll start with the olive leaf.
I've been taking this.
Yeah.
I've been recommending it to my friends who've got COVID at the moment, who've got it seems, fortunately, to be so mild. They just sort of have flu-like symptoms. but obviously they're concerned about the effects of long COVID and how do we support the immune system better. Is this something that will help to play into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at the olive leaf itself, it's quite a little bit leathery, actually. If you look at the surface of it, it's very flexible, but it's a lot firmer, more protected than the average leaf. If you look at it, it's got
it's quite thick and almost rubbery. I mean, I'm heading to Italy. I'm going to be surrounded by olive trees, so I know very well the olive leaf.
Yeah, and so that, I always love the symbolism as well as the science. So there's a sort of way of studying plants called Goethean observation, and it's very much the Willeda way. When I was at Willeda for 11 years, we were taught the Goethean observation of plants. And so the message really from the leaf is that it's very protected. It has to deal with a lot of hard climate stuff, a lot of heat, a lot of temperatures, a lot of extremes there. And I think that the olive leaf itself mirrors that. If you look at the science, it's very antiviral. So this particular form of olive leaf, where you've strengthened the elanoic acid content, is very antiviral, and it works on that mucus layer. So that first line of protection against whatever's coming out.
Whatever bugs, yeah.
And actually, the mucus layer is really important, because in that you've got the enzymes, you've got the bacteria, the healthy bacteria that you really need, so that biome that we talk about a lot. So the olive leaf ELA, which is this specific version, is strengthened for the content of ELA, and that's the antiviral component. So that's sitting a bit like that sort of waxy coating on the surface of the leaf. It forms that first line of protection. And,
so this is really good for gut health issues as well, then, as well as supporting the immune system.
Absolutely. So if you have a sensitive gut, if you have a leaky gut, then this is the first line of protection that you have.
You got that, folks? First line of protection for leaky gut, sensitive gut. I was talking to a friend last night, literally, about his gut health, and I'm so going to be saying to him, please start taking this. Yeah, and it's a mainstay of our family, and we give it to our son as well. He's 11. Yeah. I mean, we normally say sort of 14 up, but it depends on their ability to take capsules. You can twist them open and pour it into a mix, so that's not a problem. And what's inside the capsule? Let's talk about this, because I know you're very keen on plant-based always. Whoops, dropped it. There we go.
Yeah, so the important thing is that we're completely plant-based, so we don't have any fillers. And even the capsule shell is tapioca, which means it dissolves very easily. Some capsule shells are so hard that they actually don't get dissolved when they pass through the stomach, and they can sit in the gut lining.
You see that?
Yeah. So if you if you wet your fingers, it'll actually get sticky quite quickly. It's a good way of assessing how fast.
Oh, I love that. Let me do that with another one. Can I take 2 of these? Yeah. How many are you supposed to take a day?
So one a day.
One a day. Okay. All right. Well, I'll actually I will do the sticky thing just to demonstrate it. Oh yeah, I can feel it already. I've just wetted my fingers, and it's all tacky, so it's already starting to break down. So that's what I always worry about the capsules, that you take them. It's like, how long is it going to take before they get absorbed into my system? Oh yeah, it's almost sticking to my finger. Look.
Yeah, exactly. So a lot of the capsules around are what we call HPMC, which is it's chemically processed, so they're a lot harder and a lot more acid resistant. So there's a sort of counterbalance there. So you've got to be really careful. Then we've got the olive leaf, and then just as importantly, we've got the moringa leaf, which is the prebiotic. So that's also feeding those friendly bacteria.
So that's there specifically for the gut bacteria. I wondered that when I saw moringa leaf. That's your prebiotic in here.
It's a fantastic. A lot of companies will use inulin.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Things like that. Personally, I find it's quite gassy. It creates a lot of gas in the gut, and obviously we don't want that. So I find that the moringa leaf is a lot more. It's a broader spectrum in terms of content. It's got protein, it's got fibre, it's got vitamins, it's got minerals. So it's a lot better at providing nutrients as well as feeding the bacteria as well. So that in combination with the olive leaf is the perfect first line of defence, that mucus barrier. So,
and should we be taking this year round, or just when we think that we're going to be susceptible to bugs?
Personally, I would take it all year round. I think particularly at the moment, because you get this sort of rise and fall of COVID, We haven't had a proper flu season for a long time, so that's going to come through this year, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're all going to get winter flu now, aren't we?
Absolutely. So I think if you can start now and just work your way through, take it every day, that's the consistency is really key with all of these things. So I was less is more, actually. More focused supplements, less of them, but more focused.
But more focused.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the olive leaf has earned space in my case, then.
Fantastic.
So number one.
About the glass bottle, we're trying to make them smaller, so
that's fine. I've got pouches, and of course all your lovely refill pouches. I mean, all your packaging is recyclable and biodegradable and all of that.
Absolutely, really important. So we're coming on to the next line of defence now.
Okay,
so
what's the next one?
Yes, the Natureflex Turmeric. And
this was so fascinating. We talked about this before. Turmeric, an extraordinary, what is it, spice, herb, plant. I'll open my packet to show you. And tell me about how much turmeric is in these capsules, because people might think, oh, well, I'll just make a bit of turmeric tea. You can see these bright orange capsules. These are super strong, aren't they, the dose?
Yeah, super strong. So I've got my jar of turmeric here. I don't know whether you can see that.
Okay, so I'll describe it for people on Facebook or YouTube. It's like one of those little Kilner jars like that. About that sort of size?
But that's 60 grams of normal food-grade turmeric in one capsule. So
in one capsule?
One capsule equivalent, yeah. So
if you buy those little spice jars in the supermarket, I don't even think they're 60 grams, are they? I think they're about 30, maybe.
No, and it's really important because that's the effective dose, really. So people say, I'll take food-grade turmeric. You've got to have the effective dose. That's a minimum of 480, 500 milligrams of the bioactives, which is the curcuminoids, that bright red colour. And we use a special process which concentrates them from 4% to 95%. And we use the same process for the black pepper, which is equally important because the black pepper is that taxi driver that attaches to the curcuminoids and takes them across the cell membrane into the cell. And why those, so the second line of defence, why are those cells really important? Because if they're not protected by the mucus layer, then what happens is they get provoked and they get distorted in terms of shape and size.
Wow.
They get inflamed. They're only one cell layer thick, so that it's quite a vulnerable layer in the gut lining. And when they start to get inflamed, you get all this cascade of inflammatory mediators, prostaglandins, cytokines, all these compounds that then cycle and make the situation worse. And what can happen with those cells, they separate, and this is where you get that leaky gut. So a toxin, a bacteria or a virus can then pass through that cell membrane into the vascular side, and that's when it starts to get a lot more serious because it's starting to provoke a much more systemic, body-wise response. This is where you're getting a hot, cold, sweats, your aches with, if you've got COVID or whatever. So this is where it starts to move from local to systemic. So from gut lining to
all over. The aches,
absolutely.
Particularly. I mean, anybody
the great
who's...
thing about this, as a person, like my first job was working for the guy that discovered ibuprofen. This is
the anti-inflammatory. Because interestingly, ibuprofen is the only painkiller that actually works for me.
Yeah.
Maybe because my pain is to do with inflammation. So you worked. I know that you're a clinical award-winning pharmacist. So you worked on ibuprofen, did you?
Yeah, that was my baby, and so John Nicholson, who's the chemist that discovered it, basically he interviewed me for my job, my first job. So that was quite an interesting experience. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? So is this like a natural ibuprofen?
It is. So ibuprofen is very focused on one strand of that cascade. When we talked about that waterfall cascade, so you're dealing with one strand of that cascade, which then can cause problems down the other cascades, which is sensitivity in the stomach in terms of gastric intestinal bleeds. You can get that. You can get imbalance in terms of asthma with ibuprofen. More if you're taking it long term than if you're taking it one off. Because I still have my ibuprofen occasionally. Yeah,
occasionally you need something fast acting.
Yeah, you do. And so, but I will double up with 2 capsules of the Natureflex Turmeric because I know how powerful it is.
So you could take Natureflex, that you could take this alongside an ibuprofen if you really were having a pain attack.
Absolutely. And it's also, the great thing, it's also protecting that single cell lining of the gut wall from overreacting, if you like, to, so people got IBS, they've got bloating, they've got stomach cramps, perhaps they've got too much acid, actually. What's happening is that this inflammation process that's local is starting to spiral out of control. And the great thing about the turmeric is actually puts, although you look at it and it looks quite fiery, it's actually quite soothing. Yeah. I mean, actually, we say take it with yogurt, ideally. If you can mix yogurt. It's a great, obviously, we're into our BioLive yogurts. We love our yogurts. So,
well, my youngest, who has your saffron, which is another story altogether, he's 12 and not great with taking capsules, to be honest. And I put them on a spoonful of yogurt, and then he swallows them with the yogurt. It was a tip, actually, that a nurse told me at his school when she has problems, you know, giving kids tablets and things, and that works really well. Could you also, there's a question here on Instagram, could you also open up the capsules and put them in like a shake or a smoothie, or some yogurt, even if you didn't want to swallow a capsule?
Absolutely. Again, the tapioca. So we always use tapioca capsules. You can twist top and bottom, but just be a little bit careful, obviously, because you know that
it's going to spill everywhere.
In the factory, when they're running the Naturaflex batches, they literally they go orange.
They turn orange. We have to wear one of those like beekeeping suits, yeah? They look like something out of Guantanamo.
Orange. And they hate me because I put so many batches through that factory, and it's kind of like, oh, not again. You know, they have to completely change and clean down and stuff. So. Yeah. It's one of those challenging ingredients, but yeah. If you
so Nikki has commented here. She's been taking Naturaflex, and she's saying, "I wonder if that's why my migraines have eased." What would your view be on that?
Very much so. I think that there was two schools of thought that migraines sort of sit in the brain completely, but actually I'm much more of the gut-brain connection here, and digestive liver relationship between migraines, I think, is quite strong from my perspective. And so anything that's dousing the inflammation fire in and around the liver or in the gut itself is going to have a reciprocal effect in terms of the brain.
I need to make sure my Lily is on these. She's having such a terrible time at the moment. I mean, she's on so much stuff. I mean, this is the thing, you do... and I know, particularly as I age, I'm taking more and more supplements, but each of them is so well researched and so evidence-based and so good. And, a lot of us, I think, have, if we're honest about it, have trashed our bodies for a few years. We're eating, no, we are, frankly, we live on stress, we run on adrenaline, we work too hard, we stay up late, we drink alcohol, we don't do our exercise, we don't do our mindful meditation, we eat processed foods, so is it any wonder? Actually, you reach midlife, or sometimes, sadly, much earlier, and your gut and everything plays up, and it's time to put a bit back, and actually that might mean taking a handful of things, to be honest.
Yeah, and actually, isn't it much better? I used to work in the pharmacy when the prescriptions came back for more and more prescriptions. And is it so much better to have multiple targeted supplements, than having a long list of prescribed meds that is possibly going to snowball in terms of more medicines and more medicines, actually.
I read a horrifying statistic. I think it was something like 90% of everybody in the UK aged over 70 is on 7 or more prescribed medications.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
That certainly sounds about right from my experience working within a pharmacy only a short period of time, but that was enough for me to kind of get out and think I'm actually part of the problem here rather than the solution. And I think it's really important that we can change things around. We can improve things, and we can retrain the body systems to get back to a healthy state. So
that's so encouraging. That's positive news for all of us.
Yeah, and I think we get stuck in this, I've got to have a prescription medicine, I'm stuck on this for the rest of my life. But actually, there are solutions out there that can stop us from going down that path. Yeah. And then the knock-on effects further down the line are huge, are absolutely massive in terms of quality of life, life expectancy.
Yes.
There's some stats about turmeric in India that the level of Alzheimer's in India is significantly lower than the rest of the world. And it can't be a coincidence that turmeric is one of the highest consumed spices in India, along with kind of healthy fats. So,
so I think... Right. Yeah, turmeric and ghee is the kind of, seems to be almost the base of every dish that my Indian friends cook for me.
Yeah. It's one thing I was going to mention before we move on to the black garlic was that most of us, I don't know about you, but from my experience, had a lot of, at a certain age, had a lot of antibiotics. I mean, the pharmacy is supposed to be kind of educating the doctors and controlling the supply of antibiotics, but I think it's still happening from my experience. But certainly as I grew up, I must have had at least 7 or 8 courses of that yellow banana flavoured liquid, amoxicillin. I dispensed absolute buckets full as a pharmacist in retail pharmacy. And every time that happened, it's a broad spectrum antibiotic. It just narrows our biome down. And then that mucus layer, that first barrier, then starts to shrink. So I think we're also, as a nation, that have been plied with a lot of antibiotics, recovering our biome, and that's hard work. That's one of the things that does require a lot of work and consistent work to get it back up to...
I mean, antibiotics, amazing, life-saving, you know, let's thank God that we've got them, literally. But anybody who's had a course of antibiotics at any point in their life would have disrupted their microbiome, won't they? In some way.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's where the turmeric comes in, that second line. So, and then we're then into...
So we've got, hold on, let me just get my head around this. So, we've got olive leaf to strengthen the gut and the mucus layer, protective.
Absolutely.
So immune system, IBS, gut health issues all year round. And then we've got the Natraflex, this bright orange turmeric, which is your anti-inflammatory, your natural ibuprofen, working systemically through the whole body. Yeah.
Absolutely.
On which levels? We've worked on the mucus level. Which level is this one?
That's the cellular level. That's the second boundary.
Cellular level. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great. If you've got pen and paper, everybody, I should have warned you actually, shouldn't I, at the beginning? I do normally when we talk, Kevin. Okay, and then the third one, which I'm super excited to talk about because I really don't know very much about this, and this also seems to have heart protective properties, the black garlic.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I love black garlic. Absolutely.
Yeah, tell us about it. What is it? I mean, is it literally garlic that's gone black?
It is, but it's gone black through fermentation.
Ooh,
so,
fermented garlic.
We love fermented anything.
We do love anything fermented.
Absolutely. I think that the transformation, it's interesting when you test garlic before and after, and this goes over a 3 to 6 month process, sort of warm, humid conditions, controlled conditions, and gradually the chemical profile completely transforms from a quite acidic allicin. It's very, if you smell it. Yeah,
allicin and garlic. Yeah, that's the really, you can really, pungent, isn't it, smell?
And if you've had it for a meal the night before, it's a bit antisocial the next day.
Yeah, you know about it.
Absolutely. And so it then changes to SAC. So allicin to SAC, and SAC doesn't smell.
What's SAC? I didn't know that.
S-L-L-cysteine.
Ah, so you can have an effective garlic that doesn't smell of garlic?
Yes, exactly. So you get all the benefits of the cardio that you get from the white garlic.
I didn't know that.
And you get a lot of antifungal effects. So if you've got things like Candida, thrush, whatever, coming from the gut, it just wipes all those out, rebalances it. And the great thing about this, with the vascular side of it, makes the vessels more flexible. It increases the flow of blood, makes it less sticky. So that's important. I'll just mention that both the Natraflex and the black garlic shouldn't be taken if you're on a blood thinner like warfarin, because they both, in theory, make the blood less sticky, which obviously that's what a blood thinner is doing. So
could you titrate them down though? Could you gradually reduce your blood thinners and increase your turmeric and black garlic?
That has to be done with a doctor, because that's a
do it with a doctor
kind of process. So
I know people who've done that.
Yes,
I know people who've switched, who've come off prescribed medication to thin the blood and switched on to turmeric, for example, black garlic.
Yeah, and if the GP is willing, then I think that's the best
with
way
medical
of doing
guidance, sure.
And so if you look at the bulb, I always think it looks a bit like a heart shape when you cut it in two. There's almost like the ventricles of the heart.
Yeah, you've got your little garlic bulb, haven't you? Like that?
So again, it's that nature giving us a bit of a...
Oh, telling us it's good for the heart.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What I love about you and your research is that you are this, you know, fully embedded big pharma pharmacist background, and then working with Weleda, the amazing naturopathic brand. And now you've brought these two things together, these two disciplines and areas of knowledge, because we need both. You know, you can't just rely on one, and potentially you can't just rely on the other, but to bring them both in this evidence-based way is just fascinating.
There's a sort of beauty that's missing. The whole part of the story is missing if you don't sort of combine the two. And for me, it also is where my passion is. I love the science, absolutely, and I won't sell anything unless it's got a proper evidence base in humans, not animals. And but I love the observational side of it, because I think that's our connection. That's our connection, and we have a sensitivity that we've tuned down over the last few decades, and I think we're starting to rediscover that. So you look at the garlic, actually, then you start to feel it and smell it, and actually it's almost a little bit oily inside. If you mix it with water, there's a sort of blood-like element to it inside the actual garlic. It's almost slightly. If you look at blood, it's slightly viscous and sticky, and I think black garlic's a bit like that as well. So again, it's another little hint. So this is this third line of defence. So it makes the vessel more flexible. It allows the blood to flow. So again, it just helps strengthen that third line of defence from toxins, from bacteria, from viruses. And those are the things that then starts to take, when it's in the systemic, when it's in the vascular system, that's systemic. So that's where you're going to get the major stuff happening. So
that's the real danger.
And I think the bundle together, the three together, are a really beautiful combination.
And it's fine to take them together, to take the black garlic, to take the turmeric, and to take the olive leaf. And of course, we're talking here about food supplements. We're not talking about prescribed medications.
No.
You know, you might be eating black garlic. You know, you might be eating turmeric. So obviously the doses are different, but in terms of the way they work in that kind of complete form in the body. You've talked about blood thinners as a contraindication. Is there anything else? And I know actually we're getting lots of questions. I know you can't see on Facebook, but we're getting lots of questions, very specific medical questions on Instagram, which obviously we can't go into in detail here. But you have a team of pharmacists, don't you, that work with you that can answer consumer questions?
Yeah, we're a registered pharmacy, and we have a team of 4 pharmacists. We are, yes, unusual. The pharmacy inspector didn't quite know what he was inspecting the first time he came to us, but
he must have been so used to just piles and piles of boxes of drugs and pills, and he came to inspect you, and there's all this turmeric and black garlic, and you as a pharmacist. I mean, how incredible!
Yeah, it was quite an experience. He was here a long time. But I'm proud of that, the fact that we've kind of been the first to launch a 100% natural pharmacy in Europe. I think it's a great achievement. And
amazing, really. I mean, seriously, you're getting lots of cheers and thumbs up.
Thank you.
Here, it's from the community.
Yeah, thank you.
We so appreciate it. We're so grateful, actually, for brand founders like you that take that passion and have such a sense of purpose with it. And, you know, and it's risky, I know. I mean, I'm a brand founder. I've walked a bit of that path. And, you know, you risk your own money and your own time, and it's a risk. You know, you don't know if it's going to work. You don't know what challenges, what's, you know, the competition, what's going to be slung at you. And, you know, you could have just carried on a nice, comfortable job somewhere, you know, in a pharmacy. And instead you've risked.
I can't. I think that you and me and the other entrepreneurs, it's in us. We have to do it. And
you do, but when you find something that really helps and that you're passionate about, you do. There isn't actually a choice, is there? You have to do it.
No, you don't have a choice. So we've got four pharmacists here.
Do you?
Myself and 3 female pharmacists, so we've got a good balance, I think, in terms of...
the right balance, I would say. 3 to 1, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. They keep me in line and tell me when I'm wrong, so that's good. And so they're all different personalities. So we've got Georgia, who's from Italy. She's from Calabria, where the bergamot comes from. We've got Emma, who's from New Zealand, and she's an amazing pharmacist, and she's doing a lot of sort of social media stuff now. So there's a lot of it. There's, I think, something like a combined experience of about 100 years plus. So there's a lot of experience in-house now.
And they're qualified pharmacists. Yeah. So we're not talking about nutritionists, and which can vary. You can get some amazing nutritionists, and then you can also, sadly, get some people who've done a sort of 3-day course, because it's not regulated. I know that pharmacy is very, very carefully regulated. So we can trust you guys for impartial, good information, medical information, which is really important.
And we're perfectly placed to advise alongside conventional medication. So we're one of the few places where we can do that, and we've experienced that, advising what's safe and what's necessary alongside conventional scripts. And because we're not an either-or, we're best of both worlds. So
I'm going to be sending so many people your way. Honestly, Kevin, you and your team had better get so ready. Because I get asked this time and time again, virtually everybody is on some kind of medication and for something, and they want to know that if they're taking a supplement, it's not going to have a contraindication, it's going to be safe, it's going to be helpful, beneficial. So that's invaluable, that service, that advice.
Yeah, and we're completely private, so there's no drain on the NHS. It's completely self-funded, and I'm proud of that as well. That we can run alongside the NHS, and actually, I think the NHS is struggling. Everybody knows that it's really struggling, and we have to have these private services to really kind of take the pressure off. Really.
Yeah. No, I mean I got a member of my family waiting for an appointment, and it came through for March next year.
Wow.
So now make the decisions to how to move forward with it. Yeah, it's really and it's been a long time like that, as you know, building over so many years. But we do have some alternatives, and certainly things that can help build our own immunity, which in turn helps us be better able to fight whatever it is that's out there, and from everyday bugs to the next thing that's perhaps going to land on our doorstep. We need to be in the best shape.
I'd like to think that when you're doing this stuff regularly, when you're taking these regularly, I mean, I take mine all together in the morning, because otherwise I've got to line them all up and take them with my breakfast. And I think that actually you don't need to fight anything once you've got your system strong enough. You don't need to fight it. It's actually your body's completely balanced. It's like a menu of polyphenolic compounds that the body takes in and uses as necessary. And I think then the fight is not necessary, because the body's perfectly balanced and it just bounces off. It's a perfect elastic. Yeah. Doesn't even get near.
Yeah. No, I think that's very true, and I think if you can find things that really work to support, and I just think it's very interesting that we need to refocus when we're talking about the immune system. It's not just sort of crunching up a vitamin C tablet and getting on with it. It's about thinking about those layers of the immune system and how it is starting in the gut.
Yeah, and actually how supplements can be alive. So there's an energy to food extracts or food concentrates, plant-based polyphenolics, if you like, compared to a synthetic which is made artificially in the lab, often from petrochemicals. And I've been down that route, and I understand how they're made. And I just think even if you're looking at it primarily from an ecological point of view, you're creating a lot of impurities that you have to get rid of and dispose of, and environmentally it's not very good. Whereas I think with a natural plant-based supplement, you're getting nature, and nature has an intelligence, and the body recognises that.
Yeah, very compatible. And obviously for anybody on HRT, as I know so many of my community are, particularly the gels and the patches and the sprays, that's body identical, coming from yams. And none of these things are going to interact, are they, with HRT?
No, not at all. Not at all. Perfectly fine alongside.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about magnesium before we go, because I know the Naturaflex, which is the turmeric, these lovely bright orange things. It's also coming in my suitcase, obviously. This also contains a little bit of marine magnesium. So what is marine magnesium, and why do you choose that one? Because I know there's so many different kinds of magnesium, it gets a bit confusing, I think.
Again, we don't use any synthetics. So the only magnesium that we use is a form of magnesium extracted from seawater, and it's specially made in Scandinavia. for us, and there's been a fair bit of research on the absorption of this versus a synthetic, and it's been shown to be a third more absorbent, if that's the right word, compared to a synthetic. And so there are magnesium oxides, there are chelates, amino acid chelates, all those sort of very strange sounding names generally mean that they're synthetic made, and most of the magnesiums are cheap. They're popular because they're cheap.
So does that go for all of them? Things like, magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, magnesium, I don't know, whatever. There are just dozens of them, aren't there?
I think check with your supplier, but generally those are synthetic. And there's a real price implication of actually buying a natural sourced vitamin or mineral. So this is a specific magnesium from seawater. I think when you look at it chemically, it's magnesium hydroxide, and it's very well absorbed. It helps the nerve and muscle function. So from an athlete's point of view, it relaxes muscles. So if you're using it for a sports injury, then it's a perfect combination alongside the turmeric and the
because I normally choose magnesium glycinate.
Right.
Because I take magnesium in the evening, I like it for sleep. And I've read studies that show that it is one of the types that relaxes, and that magnesium citrate can be a bit harder on the stomach.
Yes. Yeah.
So do you think taking this at night then, I mean, I know you line all yours up in the morning, but do you think this would be a good option to take at night for the magnesium as well?
If you're restless, if you've got restless legs, if that's a thing that keeps you awake.
Yeah, I used to,
Then definitely take it before bedtime. And you could take it with a bit of food if you want, or you could just take it on its own, or with some yogurt, and it will do the job. The dose of magnesium in there is slightly less, so that if you had to use, we've got a straight magnesium supplement, marine magnesium, so that's a higher dose, that's 100% of the RDA. I think within the Naturaflex it's 40%. So
yeah, it says on here, 48%, so it's just under half.
Yeah, so and that's been done for a reason. We're not into mega doses of vitamins and minerals, just the right amount. And some people will take the marine magnesium alongside the Naturaflex, and it's not an overdose at that level.
No, you can take a lot of magnesium, can't you? Actually, I mean, magnesium is a very safe magnesium. Okay, so maybe I'll stick with this in the morning then, and have my marine magnesium as a little booster top up at night at bedtime.
It's really fast, and I've spoken to a lot of people that have had problems with restless legs, and they'll take it before bedtime, and it's literally within about 10 minutes it's settled, which is great.
So Nikki here, she's commenting, she's saying, I take the magnesium and the Naturaflex together, so that's okay, one morning, one night time. Absolutely. I think I'm going to be joining you with that combo, Nikki. That sounds like a really good one. Really, really good. And just before we go, there's been a lot in the news about a rise in heart issues, particularly. Do you think that the cardioprotective properties of the black garlic is going to be useful for heart protection?
For me, it's a mainstay. It's one of those ones I take every day.
Is it?
So yes, in terms of protection, my father's got some cardiovascular issues, so it's running in the family. So I'm watching that. I check my cholesterol every year just to see whether it's crept up, and it has crept up a little bit this last year. So I'm back on the Bergatone to drop that back down to, I think I was at 4.2 and it's got up to 5. So so then I'll run a test before and after just to make sure that it's dropped down correctly after 4 months, and then I'll have a rest. If it went down to, say, I don't know, 4.5, 4.3, I'd perhaps carry on and get it down a bit further. So cardiovascular risk is a number of elements. So people talk about cholesterol, and actually there's plenty of good cholesterol out there, but there's one or two bad ones as well. So you've got to be a little bit selective. And it's not the
cholesterol is a huge topic.
Huge topic, massive topic,
We'll do that another time.
For another time, I think.
Because there's definitely some good cholesterol, and you can be kind of blindsided by the cholesterol tests sometimes, not in a helpful way.
I think it's important. It's not the only story, but I think the black garlic gives a lot of elements to the it reduces cardiovascular risk factors like the flexibility of the blood vessel, the ability of the blood to flow, which is important.
Yeah.
So those are two significant elements in that. So yes, definitely.
So before you go, let's just do a real recap. I know a few people have joined late, and honestly, it's really worth replaying from the beginning because there's so much great information. If I were you, I would grab a pencil and a piece of paper as well, because it's like writing your own prescription here. So we talked about the 3 elements to protect the immune system. The first one, if I remember correctly, being the mucus layer in the gut. So that's where your olive leaf comes in, yeah? Absolutely,
yeah. That's the if you look at the leaf, the shiny protection that the leaf has, that's what it's doing to the gut. It's making sure that those viruses and bacteria and toxins are bouncing off.
You want to bounce off the bacteria, the bad bugs. So anybody with leaky gut, IBS, mucosal issues, you just need that thick, healthy mucus lining that's so protective.
And take it with food. Take this one with food, definitely.
Okay. And you take that year round?
Absolutely. Particularly at the moment. It's really important.
Right now. We need to be getting our guts in good shape for the autumn. Trust me. There's so many bugs and things coming our way. And our immune system has been so compromised. This is a really, really good time over the summer to take that time, rest, recharge, rebuild. Think about what these things can do. Okay, so mucus layer, olive leaf.
Yes.
Next thing we talked about was the cellular layer.
The second boundary, yes.
Second boundary, which is turmeric. And this is the anti-inflammatory. This is your natural ibuprofen type of supplement. Remind us how much is in each capsule?
60-gram equivalent to normal food grade turmeric. Yeah, so
that's a whole jar. That's a largish jar of turmeric potency in each capsule. So that's why it's working. That's why it's actually doing what it says it's going to do. So all areas of inflammation, would you say joint pain? We talked about migraine, some lovely people in the community having great results with migraine. Would you say this is something, again, that you can take year-round?
Absolutely. Again, I think that this should be a mainstay. For me, it's every single day. And I think you get to past a certain age. I mean, I train now, and I get a bit of soreness post-training, post-running or swimming, whatever. Yeah. And so that really kind of nips that in the bud really quickly.
Okay. And it's 2 of those, 1 or 2 daily with food?
Yes.
Okay. That's the cellular level. And then the third level, I forgot what you called it now.
Vascular.
Vascular, thank you. I did know, I'm just trying to take it all in at the same time as talk, is the black garlic. Really, really interesting, black garlic. And the reason it's black is, remember, why is it black? It's black because it's fermented. So it doesn't smell. So it won't give you garlic breath.
Not in the slightest. It's actually quite licorice in terms of flavour. So,
oh, nice.
If you want to put that in your recipe, then you can just twist open a capsule, and you've got your pharmaceutical dose within your recipe or your cooking, whatever.
Really, you could actually add that into your shake. I love licorice. I mean, I know it's a kind of a love-hate thing. I love it. Could I have a licorice shake?
Absolutely. Give it a go.
I'm going to do that this weekend. Watch out, folks. That is going to be on my Instagram stories. I am absolutely going to do that. And we can take this morning or night. I know, Devon, you're asking there. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So it's just the blood thinner. If you're on a blood thinner like warfarin, then do email us or call us at the pharmacy, and we're happy to help.
That's great. Don't forget that Kevin and his team are all qualified, medically qualified pharmacists. It's a very stringent qualification, as you know, because you go to the pharmacy to pick things up, and you can trust these people. They're in the white coats. They're dispensing, potentially, life-changing medications that need to be handled and dosed very carefully. So it's
really important. Absolutely.
Really, really important. Black garlic soup, somebody's suggesting. Yeah, you could open up a capsule, couldn't you, of sort of make a nice, I don't know, a white bean soup or something, and add that in. Oh, Nikki, you lost your connection today. You must re-listen. You've got to re-listen with a pen and paper, okay, and make notes, because it's just, I mean, you know, life-changing, actually. So much of what you're doing is life-changing. I do feel really passionately that, what are we now? We're the beginning of July, if you're watching this in real time. We've got a few months now to absolutely get to grips with making sure that our autumn and winter months ahead, when it's cold and grey and dark and we're surrounded by bugs, that our immune system is really super strong, because that's how we're going to get through it. It's our immune system and our gut microbes that are going to carry us through, isn't it?
Absolutely. This is the right time to start. Get well prepared, and your summer will be a lot smoother if you're travelling around the world, wherever you're going on holiday. I just think that it's just going to make life a lot happier and easier.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. You're getting so many hearts. I don't think we've ever seen quite so many hearts on Instagram. Fascinating stuff. And yeah, I'd love to chat again. Love to have you back. Perhaps we can compare holiday notes after the break.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Yeah.
Where are you heading off to?
Going to Portugal.
Nice.
EasyJet willing.
Please. Oh,
absolutely. And then travelling across to Aragon in Zaragoza by train via Madrid, and then taking a car all the way back across Spain to Santiago on the northwest coast, and then flying home.
So is that Santiago de Compostela? Is that where the Camino ends?
Yes.
I'm so wanting to walk that one day. I did say to myself I'd walk it this year. I don't think I'm going to get a chance. But one day
I'll tell you all about it next time. And my son is called Aragon.
Is he? I love that.
So
Aragon.
He's going to visit Aragon.
He's going to visit Aragon.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, have the most fantastic time. Thank you. Thank you. Obviously, I haven't even mentioned that we've got 20% off everything on Naked Pharmacy. So thank you for that as well. That's another kind of important, very, very important thing to mention.
Yeah, if there's any questions, we're happy to deal with them. Just send them through pharmacist@thenakedpharmacy.com, or you can give us a call, and it'll probably be busy, I suspect, for a few days.
Might be now.
But we will get back to you.
Pharmacist@thenakedpharmacy.com. Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'll add my heart to all the others. Have a great, safe holiday, and see you in the autumn.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye. You have to click off, Kevin, otherwise I run the risk of clicking everybody off. Carol, where have you been? You've just missed the most amazing live. You're going to have to watch it on Catch Up. I'm wearing your top. Yeah, everyone's saying pretty in pink. I just love it. I don't know, can you see the sleeves? Aren't they great? I should be wearing this in Spain or Portugal, shouldn't I? It feels kind of slightly flamenco-y, you know, all of that. Anyway, yes, I nearly forgot the most important, well, not the most important bit, but certainly one of the most helpful parts of that is that if you use the Liz Loves code, all in capitals, all one word, you get 20% off everything at Naked Pharmacy. So I seriously would stock up before it all sells out, because that trio, amazing. Can you remember what they were? They were, I have to look at my jar so I don't get it wrong, olive leaf for the mucus layer of the gut, especially if you've got IBS. You've got Natraflex, the turmeric for all over inflammation at the cellular level, and then black garlic for the vascular level. So super, super interesting. Just a couple of other things to say. If you want some reading material for the holiday before you go away, or maybe to take away with you, you can download before you go. I have a Stay Well, Stay Energized ebook on lizearlewellbeing.com. That is packed with so much of this information. So if you fancy downloading something, or you can even print it out before you go and take it with you, it's a really nice little ebook. It's a really good read, actually. It's all about the immune system. So very topical, very important to get to grips with, particularly in relation to gut health. And that is at lizearlewellbeing.com. It's called Stay Well, Stay Energized. I have a feeling that all the ebooks, I think, are $4.99, and you can download them. So yeah, hi there, Carol. Nice to see you again. Penny, why don't you get Carol's emails? You need to resubscribe to her email list. Yeah, I think, could the turmeric capsules be opened and used in cooking? Absolutely they could. Yeah, just make sure that you're having 1 or 2 a day. So I guess it depends, you know, if you want to make a turmeric drink or whatever. They're probably quite strong because they're quite potent. But yeah, why not? If you're doing a curry, why not? I wouldn't cook it too hard, you know, I wouldn't kind of boil it to death. But I think if you're just sort of simmering it gently, it's probably worth a try. But I would ask the pharmacists at the Naked Pharmacy, because they are the ones who know. A couple of other quick mentions, talking about gut health, something else that you might want to consider taking if you're going away. And again, this has earned space in my case, the Bimino. These you just take with a drink. You can pop it into tea or coffee, and this survives actually hot tea and hot coffee, so it doesn't matter. They're temperature resistant. 1 sachet, and this has the gluco-oligosaccharides, I think it's called, or is it galacto-oligosaccharides? I can never remember all the technical terms, but this again is proven to boost up our bifidobacteria levels. After 7 days of taking this, you boost up your... I'm going to pop mine in my coffee now. So that is a really good thing. So if you are travelling, and if you're prone to, should we say, traveller's tum, it's a really good way, again, to help reinforce your beneficial bacteria. And the reason I mention that now is that there is 45% off with your Liz Loves. Yeah, don't say we don't spoil you. 45% off. But there's a very specific code to get that much off. So I think if you just use Liz Loves on the website of Bimino, you get 15% off, which is great. Thank you very much. If you want to subscribe to get your 45% off, you have to use a special link. So we'll pop the link on Facebook. Oh, you've already done it. Well done, Rachel. Or if you want to write it down, hopefully you've got your pen and paper. It is bimino.com/Liz-Earle-Wellbeing. Okay, Liz-Earle-Wellbeing.list. Very important that you add the .list, and that will get you 45% off if you are subscribing. And if you want to subscribe, you can cancel at any time. So I know it's a bit cheeky, but you could subscribe, get your 45% off, and then unsubscribe if you wanted to. But that is something, again, which my family love, and I just think it's that kind of daily health protection, especially when you're travelling away. The other thing I think which is really useful, which is coming with me for the immune system, is Leapfrog Immune. And these, I tend not to take them every day. They are quite pricey. I mean, you can take them every day if you want to. But I think if you are somebody who is suffering at the moment and really needing to support your immune system for whatever reason, I think the lactoferrin, and we've talked about this before, lactoferrin, look it up. There are so many studies on PubMed, which is the big, proper, credible, evidence-based research website, PubMed. I think it's pubmed.com, it's global. Lactoferrin, and this combines with zinc and vitamin C, and they taste really great, actually. So my children really like them. You just eat them, and you can have one or more a day, or just take them when you're under the weather, or take them to stop you getting under the weather if you're with people, surrounded by people who've got bugs. Lactoferrin. Look it up. There's very interesting studies on lactoferrin and COVID, for example, recently. So you can find those online. That's leapfrog.com. If you want your Leapfrog Immune, 10% off with Liz Loves. They are quite pricey, but you can get a little trial pack. First sign of a sniffle or a bug. I know my team, who were researching this last autumn, Betty in my team, she had some because she'd had some sent to her by the brand, and she came down with a sniffly cold. I reminded her that she had some Leapfrog Immune sitting on her desk. She took it and it literally went away. She said, this stuff is magic. So I always have it. I don't take it every day, but I always have it in my cupboard. And if anybody's coming into my house who says they're beginning to feel a bit unwell, or if my kids show signs of anything, I definitely get them to take Leapfrog Immune. So that is also coming with me on my holiday. Might not take it every day, might do, we'll see how we go, see how we feel. But that's definitely coming with me. Right, that's about it for today. Gosh, it's been a bit of a romp, hasn't it, through the immune system and some of the botanicals that can really help. But again, all evidence-based. This is not faddy, this is not mythology, this is proper evidence-based pharmacy. I'm going to be back next week. Slight change. So get your diaries out. I'm going to be back with you on Wednesday. And we're going to be talking about fitness. I'm going to have Julie from Instep with me. She's going to be fab. We're going to talk about resistance bands, all of that stuff. Great things to take away with you on holiday, by the way. Why am I back on Wednesday, you might ask? Well, I shall tell you. I'm back on Wednesday because I'm not here on Tuesday. Why am I not here on Tuesday? I'm not here on Tuesday because Brella is graduating. Yes, little Brella is graduating. So her father and I and some of her siblings are going to her graduation. And that is next Tuesday. So I'll pop some pics on my gram if you'd like to see. She said it's fine to share. She'd like to share with everybody. So we're thrilled for her. So as a family, we're going to be doing that next Tuesday. That means that I'm moving the live to the Wednesday. So, yeah, I know. It's lovely, isn't it? Congrats. Thanks, Nikki. Oh, your son's also congratulations. Brilliant. Also on the same day. Yeah, I think there's rather a lot of them because I think there's a bit of a backlog from the COVID years, from the dreadful lockdown years. So I think, yeah, there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of them. So, yes, Penny, 12:30 next Wednesday. Okay, yeah, proud mama, definitely. Thank you. I'll pass that on, Trisha. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chaz. Really kind. So, yeah, 12:30 next Wednesday live and also next Thursday. So next week I'll be doing Wednesday and Thursday instead of Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. Lovely to see you. I'm going to go away and sort of process all that information now because there was quite a lot to take in, wasn't there? I think I'm going to rewatch bits of it actually just so I know that I've got it in my head. And thanks, Julie. I'll pass that on to Brella. Thank you. Nice to see you all. I'll see you all next week. I've got a podcast that's going live on Friday and also new bits up on YouTube if you want to tune into that over on Earle Wellbeing. Thank you. Thanks for all the hearts. Sending lots back. Lots of love to you all. Thank you. Bye.